Welcome to a stunning morning here in Alpe d'Huez. The sun is rising just behind me there. The snow is pristine at the minute. So obviously, being the Ridealong channel with me, Cookie, I'm going to take you on a little session in just a moment or two down an amazing piste in pristine condition just now. But then the rest of the session is actually something slightly different. The rest of it is all about a podcast filmed with ESF UK and Mark, the director of Up-piste for the ESF UK branch. That's right, the École de Ski Français, the French school system, or the French ski school, has an English side to it, directed by Mark and a whole team that work with him, basically aiming at promoting the French ski school to the UK market. Mark and I had a little chat about it just before Christmas 2024, all about the history of me and how I ended up in Alpe d'Huez, how I got into skiing, but most importantly, what is ESF, how does it work, and how can you guys make the most of the biggest and best ski school in the world. Stay tuned, here we go. First things to do, double check the microphone is live and working. Clip on some skis. And of course, very importantly, get the camera onto that unicorn mount. Stick it about 30 centimeters or so out in front of me, the Insta360 X4. You'll hear a cheeky plug for it later on as well in this video, but that's what creates such a cool view. Not just the POV, the point of view as I ride down this little bit here, but then spin it around back to me, and as I dial up the speed, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm doing, rather than like this guy on my left, forced to hold a mobile phone while he tries to snowboard. So that's right, this is ESF UK. Follow their YouTube channel as well as hitting that like and subscribe button down on the bottom of this video. All the links and descriptions and everything, of course, are in the description of this video. What skis I'm riding, some camera tricks and tips. Woohoo, this snow is good. Well, like I said, this is just a quick little intro to me flying down this piste called Lisieux. In a moment or two, Mark and I are office bound in the Alpe d'Huez ski school, having a bit of chat about things. Woo! That's it. Quick release camera off the helmet as I come into the village just here. I hope you guys enjoy what's going on. And as mentioned throughout all of this channel, you're welcome here to Alpe d'Huez. Drop me a message. All of my content details are down below. Skiing, snowboarding, on, and most favorably for me, off-piste, backcountry, and exploring the amazing powder and off-piste that there is here in Alpe d'Huez. But for now, ESF UK, over to Mark and the podcast.
Hello and welcome to Snow Chat Podcast with ESF UK. We've travelled to the wonderful resort of Alpe d'Huez and we've caught up at last with Simon Cook, aka Cookie, a British skiing instructor with ESF for many years, in resort, and we're going to have a quick chat with him on this podcast. So hello Simon, hello Cookie.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Good. What I'm interested to do on this podcast is to have a general chat with you about how did you come to be part of ESF, where you are from back home in the UK, just generally about you, and then we'll get on to ESF. Okay?
Sure.
So, where are you from in the UK?
I'm from Southampton, and that's where I learned to ski. I don't come from like a skiing family background. I wasn't one of the young rippers learning to ski. I was 17 at college, and we got offered some cheaper lessons at the local dry slope.
Where's the local dry slope?
Southampton. It's at the main sports centre thing. They've got a huge astroturf, running tracks, bike tracks, all that stuff, and there's a really good dry slope just there.
Good.
Lessons were cool, really started enjoying it, joined the local club and started getting into it. Still never went on a ski holiday.
How old were you then?
17.
17.
Yeah, so I was studying outdoor sports, travel and tourism stuff at college. So I'd already sports, I could skateboard, I could skate, so skiing just kind of made sense. Mm-hmm. And I learned to do freestyle. I learned to backflip before I'd been on snow on the local dry slope. And I could grind, I could jump and all that stuff. Did a summer season, then did a winter season, but not as an instructor at all. I came out to Lidders out just across the valley and thought I could ski, had my own freestyle skis that I'd won in some competition once, thinking I could do it. And then stood at the top of the piste, just went, this mountain is big. This is not a dry slope. This is different. And it was very humbling.
What do you, obviously for the people watching this, there's some people that would have been skiing and they're avid snowboarders, skiers, but there are going to be some people that are looking to come on their first ski holiday or snowboard holiday. Just describe, you just mentioned it, that the immense size of a mountain when you actually are here. Just describe it as an instructor and as a young person coming out for the first time, what it's like.
The mountains are big. That's the way to say it. You know, when you stand there and it's overwhelming just how much space there is. And looking at a piste map, thinking, okay, there's this many kilometers or that many kilometers, I'm going to do that run, that one. Until you actually start going up a lift and realize how high off the ground you are, or how far out of sight that piste goes and then comes back round. And
I don't think people actually realize you can never take a picture of a mountain on your phone and do it justice.
No.
You can take a picture of a beach, you can take a picture of palm trees, but actually taking a picture of a mountain, the vastness of it is impossible, isn't it?
Yeah. I've been snowboarding with a beginner this week, and he'd never been to the mountains before, and we've started, as you do on the nursery slopes, the drag lifts, the beginnery stuff. And we started to go on an adventure. So we went on a longer green run. Whoa, this place is huge. And we've scratched the tiniest surface of anything. Yeah. And then we started going up lifts. And he's like, well, there's more and there's more. Yeah. And we've stayed very local, but we've been on a great adventure all over the place. And we still haven't skied a tenth of the mountain there is here.
Wow. So I'll take you back to Southampton. Quick question. Why didn't you get into more water sports on the ocean in Southampton? Why was it skiing that attracted you and not windsurfing at the time? Or did you do windsurfing?
I did both at the same time. Yeah. Sailing in the summer, windsurfing in the summer, skiing in the winter. It started when I was 16, 17 in college, and we got given lessons in various different sports. Learned to sail, learned to windsurf, and that is my summer career, is windsurf coaching. My winter, my winter's here. Like, it's a nice balance of two halves.
Brilliant. Permanently tan, really.
From here down.
And panda eyes most of the season. So that's a little bit about you. That's good. So when did you think, I'm going to come out to the mountains, I'm going to learn to be an instructor? And what made you choose the process of the French process of learning?
So I did 9 seasons working a variety of jobs, operations, hospitality, in local bars, restaurants, all kinds of different stuff, and loved it. It was going well. And then I ended up in Flame, another ski resort in France. Great skiing, Grand Massive, really good ski area. And I was working quite closely with the ski school at the time, bringing them clients and organising. So I was running the reps service over there, and became good friends with the director of the ski school there. And I helped out a little bit of these freestyle evenings that they're running in the village. He saw me helping out some kids on some freestyle stuff, saw that I was enjoying it and actually I could do the thing myself, but I actually enjoyed teaching people. And he basically said, come back next year and work for me. Not qualified. I worked in the garden, the Chalet des Enfants, the kids club areas, in snowboard boots, walking up and down, helping out under 3 years old, whilst training every afternoon to be an instructor. So I had to learn to race, had to get the speed up and understand what skiing really was, because I thought I could ski. I'm 9 seasons in, I can ski everywhere. Put me in a race gate, not a clue. I couldn't do it at all.
I'll explain for people watching this. To become a skiing instructor in France, it is the most testing and probably the most difficult in the whole of the world to become a skiing instructor with the French system. And you have to take what's called a test technique. And explain that quickly for me.
So test technique is a slalom race test. So you're short, fast turns, you're making contact with the gates. It's a special slalom or slalom, like you'll see on TV in the Olympics, just not quite that level, but it's hard. And they send down what's called an opener, so very good racers that are in the national series competing well. And from a few openers, they average their time and add on a percentage. So I can't remember exactly, maybe it's 18% for male and 22 for female, something like that. So if they've done it in X time, this is the cutoff, you need to do it. And what the coaches kept saying to me through a full season and a bit of training while I was getting to actually pass it, and I failed it twice, that's the third time I finally passed it, was once you have the technique, the time doesn't matter. And I kept missing the time, and I was missing the time, and I knew I didn't have the technique, but I couldn't ski any faster. They kept saying, it's because you haven't got the technique. Stop trying to ski fast and try and ski fluidly and well. And sure enough, by missing it by not hundredths of a second, which is usually where it's a pass fail quite close, I was missing it by 3, 4, 5 seconds.
Wow.
And then when I passed, it was by 3.5 seconds.
So it was just a technique that got you the extra second.
Something clicked, and it was fluid, it was smooth, it was powerful, and each turn gave me speed into the next one. I didn't try and get speed. The ski accelerated for me.
Wow.
And it was the right technique that I didn't have and I didn't know about.
Obviously, there's young people here looking at this, I would hope, thinking, I'd love to be a ski instructor. Is it costly for you personally to become a skiing instructor?
Yeah, it is. It takes commitment. Like if you want to commit and really train hard to become an instructor, then yeah, you're gonna have to spend a lot of weeks on snow and a lot of weeks on dedicated training on snow.
Yeah.
You know, people can ski for 25 years and we can make it around the mountain. I've done 9 seasons. I thought I could ski full season, not bits. You know, this is 4.5 months every day, and I was one of those. Yes, I was a classic seasonaire. I had a few beers in the evening, of course, but I skied and I loved it.
Yeah.
Thinking I could ski, no problem. I rock up to be a ski instructor. You've got to learn to race, and you've got to learn the technique and focus your training.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the process to become a fully fledged, qualified rouge jumper, red jumper, ESF instructor takes 6 years?
Can do. Yeah, you can do it in less, you can do it more. I've known people taking 12, 13 years. I've known people, the quickest I know is about 4 to get through all of the exams.
And then you're a proper ESF instructor.
That's it. And actually, there's a misconception, I suppose, that ESF is a training school. Right. So they take on what they call stagiaires, working through their stages. So you don't have to be fully qualified to work for ESF. You just need to get through the entrance exam, which is hard. Once you're in, you can work, you can get paid, you can teach people at certain levels, and then you get free training off the side of it. Brilliant. So as long as you can get through that test technique, then you're in the door. And then you'll see there's younger people in the school, and actually a lot of the school aren't fully qualified. We're training.
So there you go. Actually, you can take, you can look online at esf-uk.co.uk, and there is a part on that website on becoming a skiing instructor with ESF, and it actually highlights all of that. But it's if you go back many years, I mean, I know how old you are, and I'm slightly older. I can remember when I learned to ski at probably 11 years old, a skiing instructor was a hero. It was somebody that you would look up to, and the girls would go up at school, oh God, here he comes, Pierre, or whatever. And do you think that has lasted the test of time, or do you think being an instructor in the eyes of the customer is thought of differently now? Or because I still see, when I look at our instructors being ESF, obviously working for ESF, I think, wow, the rouge, the red, it's like you're all heroes. Is that? Do you get that still, or?
Maybe
we didn't actually practice.
We didn't call that,
so putting them on the spot.
Oh, kind of maybe that's the impression other people have of us. But as soon as we start hanging out and chatting, and as soon as you said, "Oh, you're an instructor, nice to meet you," it's suddenly we're on a level. What's going on? Let's just talk about it.
It is one of those things. I think that there is an importance that you have, because ESF is a École de ski français. Basically, you're a teacher. So you have to have the responsibility of being a teacher. So when students or customers rock up to the meeting point and they see the nicest instructor coming towards them, there is that je ne sais quoi about being an instructor. Do you feel that as well? Do you feel the passion of that?
Yeah. And I feel the ownership as well. Like they put a lot of not pressure, but they want to succeed, and that they're there with us to get that from us.
Good.
And I think I've gone, having not learned as a kid, I've gone through the emotions of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward through my skiing career, and I'm still with that with the students that I'm teaching throughout the time as well.
Now, before we end part 1, so we are here in Alpe d'Huez. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, which I'm sure I have. Why choose this resort? What is the magic about this resort? Because this is one of my favourites personally. So sorry, all the other directors of ESF. I do love this resort. Why here?
I actually came here because I needed to do some exams. I hadn't finished my diploma when I got here, and I knew that where the stad, the racing stadium here, hosts one of the exams I had to do, the Euro test, which is one of the other tests after test techniques, another racing exam on giant slalom. And I knew that if I worked for the school, I already had my entrance exam. I could work for the school here and I'd get training on the right stad by the right people that know that this is where it's going to be hosted.
Good.
So I connected with the school, I worked for the school, I trained, and I got through the exam a lot quicker than I probably should have done. Like I didn't think I was ready for that training, for the exam. I was ready for the training. I needed the training. And I was only going to come here and see what it was all about, do the training, and then who knows what. And that was maybe 8 or more years ago, because I just connected with the community, with the school. Everything just worked really well together. And we just decided this is home.
And now you have a family?
Yep.
So you've built your whole life here in Alpe d'Huez?
Yeah. Our winter life is here. We travel away in the summer. I teach windsurfing in Greece. But we're back here.
Watch Cookie's videos of windsurfing in Greece. They're amazing.
And it's a brilliant balance. We're back here for autumn, so we get the sort of 6 weeks or so where there's no snow and it's getting ready for winter. So it's quite a nice time to be here.
Good. Right. So I'm going to play a little video now of Cookie in action, skiing in the mountains here in the Alpe d'Huez, and we'll be back for part 2.
Fresh powder! Yeah! Yow!
Welcome back to part 2. I hope you enjoyed the quick clips of Cookie skiing with his Insta360 camera. There's a little plug for you. So we want to get on in part 2 to talk about ESF. This is why we're here, and the team we've got in Alpe d'Huez. So talk to me about the team. How many monitors or instructors, what their characters are like, what sort of mix between boys and girls, men and women, etc. So talk to me about the team here.
I mean, during February holidays, the team is 350 or more. It's huge. That drops down drastically, of course, outside seasons. And this is where we work for ESF, but we sort of manage our own time. So a lot of guys have other projects or other things going on. So they're only here for February, but then they disappear and then they come back. And then there's the core, maybe 120 or so of us. Actually, not 100% sure of the numbers, but it feels like about 120.
And that's through from December now, where we are in December, right the way through to the end of mid-April?
Mid-April, end of April, 20-something, yeah. And it's 3 bases within Alpe d'Huez. So there's Club Med, which is huge. There's 1,000 and something clients there. And we have our own school within it, so that's part of ESF. And then ESF in Grand Rus and ESF Berges. We're all the same school, and you can actually get allocated to any part of it. But it means like my boot room and where I keep my stuff is down in Berges, but then my lessons this week are actually in Grand Rus, the other meeting point. So I snowboard over this week to meet the guys.
Talk to me about the characters. There must be some really quite funny, quirky French characters that you work with. Is there any one that springs to mind?
No one specific, but there's everything you can think of. You know, there's the quiet, calm, very organised ones. There's the ones that suddenly you walk into the boot room and you can hear them a mile away. And everything in between, and a cool mix of male and female. It's not high strung in either direction. It's, I don't know exactly, again, maybe 55% male.
Do you know them all, or do you?
No, there's too many to know them all. But in the same boot room, because the same 30, 40 of us are always in at roughly the same time each day, then I know those guys.
Good.
And there's a certain few, like in a 300 strong anything, you'll be friends with a bunch of them. Others you'll know who they are, but you maybe haven't had much of a conversation with. And the longer I stay here, the more I'll get allocated different sessions together. So through the season, I'll get allocated group ski school lessons. And it might be 3 instructors are allocated onto adult 2-star or adult class 2 or 2-star children, whichever. So you got 3 or 4 instructors with 25, 30 people. We then split into different groups, but it might be, Mark, I need you to switch. I've got one, your group's slightly higher than me and we'll switch one, or I've got one slightly lower and we'll switch that way. So you do get to know the instructors because of weeks that you've worked with them or near them.
And with the clientele, with our customers per se, is where you just said you can switch, do you have that knowledge and understanding and the authority that if somebody's falling behind, do you then find another instructor that may be in a class lower and you switch them down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think most people, when they book their lessons, hopefully with ESF, obviously, it's a bit nerve-wracking knowing what level you actually are. The British always seem to go up a level. We all think we're better skiers than we actually are, which is a trait of ours. But do you spot that straight away and move people around?
Yeah. So when we join up,
people get a bit annoyed because you put them down, or is it for their safety?
We try to say it's up or down a group, but just kind of, I've got a group better suited for you, or actually I'm just going to make a quick switch.
So you're selling it to people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the first thing we do, let's say it's a popular week, there's a number of people, and we've got 3 instructors allocated onto a class of a specific level. Because we might have 30 people, 3 instructors, we're good to go. We're not going to ski as 30, clearly. But we'll go for a little ski just to get to know everyone, just for the first 10, 20 minutes, a little piste or 2. I haven't skied in years, I haven't done it since last time. It's cool. Let's just go for a little cruise as a big group. And very quickly, people find their feet, and then we'll find a suitable pitch where we can say, right, one at a time, you guys, just wait here and just do a little gentle ski to us.
Yeah, understand.
And the 3 instructors are there going, cool, well skied, you're with Mark, well skied, you're with me, well skied, you're with whoever.
Yeah.
And then we split from there. And then we start skiing for the rest of that day. It's a 6-day group ski school, usually.
Yeah.
But after the end of the first morning, I might say, Mark, actually, I've got a couple for you. Have you got a couple that are better than you thought, or vice versa?
So you're always thinking about the customer, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very good point you just made, 6 days. I always get confused, and I've worked with ESF for 13 years. When you book a group lesson and you arrive, because the ski holiday is traditionally weekend to weekend, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
It has been like that for many years, where you arrive on a Saturday, you start your lessons on a Sunday, you end on a Friday, medal ceremony, you go home on a Saturday. But because of the way the world works at the moment, and because of the wonderful tour operators that we use in the UK have ski weekends or Wednesday to Wednesday, does that
Heidi and Whiskey or
all our favourite fans in the UK, all our favourite tour operators and businesses. Does that cock you up a bit?
It just takes some planning. That's all it is. And that's where we as instructors on the ground kind of do what's dealt to us. And then the secretaries that work behind the scenes are really good at shuffling things in. It does make things a bit confusing, but it's nothing we can't handle.
So if you arrive on a Sunday and you want to start on a Monday and do 6 days, you can still do Monday to Saturday. Or is that difficult?
It's difficult. You do just need to make sure you booked it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the more people in the village, so the higher in peak you are, the easier as it is.
Okay.
Whereas when we're at low season right now, skiing around right now, there's groups of 2 or 3 in each group. Yeah. And there's nothing to shuffle to.
This part is the final part is all about funny things that you've seen on the mountains as an instructor. So we don't want to be horrible to people, and I'm laughing already because you've told me a couple that you've had an experience. So tell me the funny things. There must be some stories where you've had people doing silly things.
Yeah, absolutely. The number of years I've been doing this, we've seen all kinds of everything going on. And I think we should say at this point, everything that we're laughing about now, I've laughed with the clients. So we've never been horrible to them. Good. And I think part of being an instructor is leveling with the clients and explaining I've been there, that happened. Yeah, at one point I had my glove dangling off my wrist and dropped a pile of snow in it at one point. I've been there with you. So when I'm trying to help people out, it's probably because I've learned by making the mistake myself, or one of my friends and colleagues have done it too. Right. So the first one that sticks to mind is the reputation of beginners that ski boots hurt. And yes, they are different to what you're used to. They shouldn't be painful. They should be snug, comfortable, and restricting, I suppose, which is why it feels painful. But I was having a nice chat with a guy, and we haven't skied yet, I should say at this point, but I was chatting to him, and then he said how painful his boots were. And I glanced down and went, they're on the wrong feet. That's why they're so... And suddenly you put them back on. He's like, actually, they're not that bad, are they? They are quite comfortable.
What about coming off the lift? They must have seen some tumbles and face plants.
Coming off a lift, it's one of the classic things you have to learn along the way. The cool thing actually in Alpe is there's so many tele mixes. So it's a chair and a cabin on the same lift. Yeah. So when I've got people who've never used a chairlift before or aren't feeling comfortable, we will take our skis off on the chairlift, but we'll go to the cabin half. Right. It's the same cable, but it's chair, cabin, chair, cabin. Right. So we'll stand on the side right next to where the chairs are loading so we can watch them. And we can see other people making some mistakes and sliding all over the place or doing whatever they're doing. Then we'll jump on the cabin. And when we get to the top, we can then watch everyone getting off it as well. So we can actually kind of preempt the fear, the nerves, the anxiety, and watch everyone else having their mistakes, because it's a daily thing, isn't it? Everyone falls off the chairlift.
How many people have you instructed in a group or private where they've literally gone and they can't stop and you're going, oh my God, you've skied down? Is there any...
No.
Tumbles? Actually, no.
No, tumbles, yes. You're going to fall over when you learn to ski. That's part of it. And teaching people how to stand back up, that's part of it. The only time I can think of people just flying off down the mountain is usually the kids when they get a bit excited and they kind of don't want to stop, or they're like just drifting away following a butterfly. So you chase after and you scoop up the kid. Generally, if I've got to the point where an adult has done that, then that's on me for taking them somewhere they probably shouldn't be.
True.
So
there is a big responsibility, even though we're laughing and joking about people falling over, and if you do fall over like a rag doll. Don't fall over stiff, because that's when you're inevitably going to hurt yourself. But if you fall over on snow like a rag doll, you tend to be a little bit more, just get up, brush the snow off and carry on.
And the ski may or may not fall off. It doesn't matter. Sometimes they don't. That's normal. Yeah. Sometimes they will. That's normal.
I want to talk to you in the last part of this podcast about Alpe d'Huez as a resort.
mentioning off-piste. Amazing off-piste here, by the way.
Talk to us about off-piste then.
Off-piste was always something I wanted to do when I was trained to be an instructor. And before I was an instructor, I just loved backcountry skiing. So actually all the qualifications and the training, I kept thinking soon I can take some clients and we can go off-piste. That's what I love doing. And part of what I do actually tomorrow afternoon is kind of giving back to seasonaires. So I'm going to do a completely free session. There's so many people here that are here all winter and they get excited like I did and they want to go in the backcountry. So tomorrow I've got a training session completely free on how to stay safe off-piste.
Brilliant. So what does that consist of?
Transceiver training. So this electric device that you carry that gives out a beacon. So a beeper, they're sometimes called. So if your friend or you were lost under the snow, the others in your group can use their beepers and they can find you.
Good.
So it's kind of
like a probe.
It's a probe. Yeah, it's an electric beep, 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 find them. But it takes a bit of practice, takes a bit of understanding on how to use them. And then it's not a safety, it's not 100% safe, but it's something you always have. And the better trained you are, the quicker you are at finding your friends. And
it's very important, actually.
Yeah,
it's if you're skiing off-piste, you need to. And the safety equipment you carry while you're off-piste, what's that consist of?
The basic three are your transceiver, your probe, your shovel. And then the guides like myself, when we're taking people off-piste, we carry extra safety equipment, extra radios or extra emergency equipment just in case. And that is part of booking an instructor. When people book me, whether or not they know that they want to go off-piste, I might be with them for 4 or 5 days and I start dropping it in that it's not as scary as an extreme as it could be. It's definitely not as dangerous as people think it is.
Do you need certain skis to ski off-piste?
It definitely helps. It's not essential, but it definitely helps. The guy that I was with this week, our plan wasn't to ski off-piste. Right. We started on a piste. We were doing some carving, some general skills. And then I started dropping in, maybe you fancy an adventure. The snow's good. Then it snowed overnight. I sent him a quick message like, tomorrow, go to the shop, ask for this sort of ski. So the skis are measured on their waist. Everyone measures length. You mentioned 160, whatever it may be. But the waist of the ski, 90 minimum. That's 90 millimeters minimum. More like 100 to 110, the waist under your foot. Gives you the float, makes it so much easier to ski.
Right, and you bounce, don't you, properly?
Sort of, yeah. Bounce, pedal, step, there's different things. And actually the cool thing about off-piste is it depends on the type of snow you're in.
Of course.
Every few turns might be different. If it's a fresh powder run, if it's a tracked out crud, if it's got a layer, if it's bumpy, there's so many different variables that need to come in. So at a time, yes, you may bounce. Right. Don't take that as that's how you ski off-piste.
Ignore that. He's the instructor, I'm not. Final part. This resort, it's a wonderful place. If you are coming, last part is for people that are watching this that want to go skiing, want to have their first week holiday, come to Alpe d'Huez. But one of your parties says, I don't like skiing. I'm going to be, it's not for me. Tell people watching this, what is there to do apart from skiing on the slopes?
Alpe d'Huez, or not just Alpe d'Huez, all these different resorts are mini little towns, cities. They've got loads of other stuff going on. Most of them have some sort of a sports centre if you're just looking to do something that's non-snow related. Massive sports centre here. It's got a soft play for under 5-year-olds. Wow. Become very known for that one just now at the moment. Squash courts, ping pong, climbing. There's like a high rope assault course. There's an ice rink just outside the sports centre. Swimming pool. 2 swimming pools in the village just here. Or 2 public ones plus half the hotels.
I've been in the swimming pool here, actually, one of the swimming pools. And a funny story. It's supposed to be his funny stories, but I'll tell you a funny story. We were here last year, a friend of mine, and if you haven't got your own swimming, you can't swim in the swimming pool with swimming shorts. You have to have Speedo style trunks. And I didn't have any. So you can buy in a bowl, you can buy new Speedos, swimming trunks, which my friend bought for about €12. But you can also hire someone else's swimming trunks. And I didn't want to pay €12. So I hired for €6 a used pair of swimming trunks. And you can do that, can't you?
And it's sanitary.
Obviously, they're clean.
Yeah. It's hygiene reasons you can't wear shorts, but you can rent someone
else's pants. So when you come to here to Alpe d'Huez and you want to go swimming, it's a lovely outdoor swimming pool, but bring swimming trunks. Don't bring your swimming shorts. You're not allowed. But it's fascinating.
They're from a vending machine, aren't they? You can buy your Mars bar, or you can buy your Speedos.
And then you go to the bar and have a drink afterwards. It's a weird setup, but it's great. So you can come to Alpe d'Huez with not being a skier or snowboarder, but talk to me about the activities on the slope finally, like you mentioned off-camera snowshoeing, etc. What other things can you do?
Yeah, like non-skiing on snow activities, snowshoeing adventures.
And this is all ESF put this on?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Snowshoeing, there's loads of really nice little gentle walks or more extreme walks, depending on what you want to do. There's dog sledging. So 6 or 8 dogs out on the sledge in front of you. You've got someone controlling it, and then 2 of you sit on the sledge and go on a nice little tour.
Brilliant.
Cross-country skiing.
Yes,
it's not as crazy.
No,
Brits don't do it much. There's definitely a core few that do, but there's some really nice gentle
cross-country skiing, small skis,
Nordic skiing, very thin and grippy. When you pull back against them, they grip the snow a little bit.
You have to be fit to do that.
It helps, but it's not necessary.
Really?
It's just a different bit of coordination. It's like going for a bit of a walk, and then, the further you go or the more elevation, then yes, of course.
And what if you want to be a skier sniper? Can you do biathlon here?
Yep. Yeah, they've got a training area. So you do a little bit of cross country, then you stop and you shoot the...
What's that like?
It's good fun. It's harder than it looks.
Yeah, I can imagine.
When they're training here, they're a certain distance from where the shoot is to the target, where they shoot to the target. And then when you see them on telly, you realize that it's miles further than what you're training on. It's really hard.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you are doing biathlon and you're Nordic skiing power, and then you have to slow your heart rate down so you're not...
That's the skill. You just ran however far you just ran, and then you've got to stop and be very calm. Like it's difficult.
It's a very difficult thing, isn't it? If you can do the shooting, actually, not on the tracks, there are laser machines you can practice.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good.
Again, through the school, you book it all up and go.
Again, everything is bookable with ESF, which is tremendous. And one of the reasons. Talk to us about Sneakleys.
Sledging, basically, for adults and kids. But it's not walk up and go down a little slope. You go to the top of one of the main lifts, and then they connect these sledges together, and your legs go just around the person in front of you, and then the guy in the front's doing the steering. And you go a long, I think it's 2.5-3 kilometer green piste, all in this little windy snake. It's really good fun. Snake or Una, which is like a single ski thing you sit on with a handle between your legs, and you go flying down. It's sledging, but it's not tiny kids sledge. Oh, kids can do it. Like adults get out there and go full power. Like, this is great.
I think that some people might think that when you have your lesson, it finishes. ESF, group lesson, finished. Instructor goes on to another group lesson. But actually, here, and most resorts that ESF operate in, which is just over 250, there is so much to do.
Yeah,
with ESF, isn't there? Which is tremendous, really.
Yeah, paragliding, more on snow. Yeah, you can go flying up here. So a qualified, experienced pilot on the back, you're on the front. Huge parachute thing.
That's not ESF bookable, but ESF will help you find that one.
Yes, everything's affiliated together and connected together, and some of the instructors are also the pilots. It's not strictly an ESF thing, but it's all kind of the community works together to make things fun.
Brilliant. So it's been a long time coming, this, and I've come all the way from the UK just to see this man, who's a friend of mine anyway. Cookie, thanks ever so much for being here and allowing me to have a chat on camera. And hopefully a lot of people watch this and they'll get an insight into you as an instructor with ESF in outdoors. So thank you very much.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure. Let's go skiing tomorrow.
You will do.